All right, so today I'm gonna react to the closest image ever taken of the sun's atmosphere. So this is by NASA YouTube channel here. I haven't seen this video yet. This was released 1 day ago, so that was July 11, 2025. Let's check it out.
Liftoff of the mighty Delta IV Heavy rocket with NASA's Parker Solar Probe. Ever since NASA's Parker Solar Probe launched into space in 2018,
Hmm,
it has been said
that's impressive, 2018. But again, NASA has one of the best space tech of all time. They've made tons of scientific discoveries that still help us to this day, especially with GPS, radar, among other things.
getting closer and closer to the sun and taking images along the way. In December 2024, it made its record-breaking closest approach to the sun. That's when it took these historic close-ups of the solar atmosphere.
That's really cool, actually. So 3.8 million miles from the sun. That's some really interesting image. December 2024.
Here, images that are changing the way we understand our star. Images like this one, we are actually going to have this full understanding of how the solar atmosphere works, in particular, to try to predict the solar activity and indicate some facts. The images were
The
taken.
only issue, though, that I think is going to cause a lot of stoppage because of Trump's budget cut of NASA, cutting a lot of the funding from NASA, that could prevent them from continuing doing a lot of this scientific space research. Now, I know the Supreme Congress is trying to prevent that, so we're going to see what's going to happen. Otherwise, US is going to be behind Russia and China at that point, especially behind China.
By the spacecraft's Wide Field Imager for Solar Probe, or WHISPER, which observes space in visible light.
Hmm.
WHISPER doesn't look at the sun directly. Instead, it captures solar material just as it comes up from the sun. When it took these images, the spacecraft was only 3.8 million miles from the sun's surface. If Earth and the sun.
Just want to say that 3.8 million miles may seem a lot, but that's not that far from the sun itself. That's pretty close to the sun. So those are some amazing images.
Were 1 foot apart, Parker Solar Probe was about half an inch from the sun.
So this, there you go. They give a great perspective. So this is basic distance from the sun. The Earth, of course, is millions of miles. So really, the probe was extremely close to the sun, very close. Pretty crazy, right? The sun is also humongous. The sun is much bigger than Jupiter, and Jupiter can fit several Earths. Jupiter can fit all the planets in it, really, in terms of scale. So imagine how big the sun is.
At that distance, the spacecraft was immersed in the solar atmosphere known as the corona. Here,
Corona. Okay.
strings of electrically charged particles flow outward from the sun at over a million miles per hour, forming the solar wind that fills the entire solar system. These images reveal previously unseen details at the origin of the solar wind. The amount of clarity, the amount of details that we got from Parker Solar Probe is totally impressive. But also you see phenomena that you didn't see before, and that's where the finding is. If you look closely, you can see key features in the images. This is a collision of three large outbursts of solar material.
Hmm. Right here, right there,
Known as coronal mass ejection.
and right here.
Or CMEs. The most impactful events, multiple events that are one following the others, and understanding that interaction CMEs will have us also have another view of their potency for spaceflight. When the most impactful eruptions reach Earth, they can trigger auroras, but they can also harm satellites, disrupt power grids, and expose astronauts to dangerous radiation.
Yeah, so that's why we have to be careful with the solar flares because they can cause a lot of damage. It has happened where they cause tremendous amount of damage to satellites that we use on Earth, a lot of damage to in terms of radiation. Radiation can destroy electronics, but also impacts the scientists, so the astronauts. The spacesuit can only do so much, and with that intense radiation, it can still damage the not just their skin and that's it, but also their genetics material. So you gotta be very careful. Radiation is very dangerous. That's why we still have an ozone layer, which is why we're still alive and not getting bombarded with as much radiation from space as we could have been. You can look at example of Mars that doesn't have an ozone layer anymore, hasn't had one for I think billions of years at this point, and it's really hard to alive, at least on the surface of the planet. And the moon gets bombarded by radiation too. There's no ozone layer there.
On the far left, there's another key feature. This region marks an important structure known as the heliospheric current sheet. If we zoom out and look at the sun from the side, the current sheet looks like a twirling skirt that extends out from the sun and across the solar system. This invisible current sheet is a boundary separating where the solar wind's magnetic field changes direction from north to south. It surrounds the whole sun, and it never disappears. That's actually one of the genes of the solar wind that we have to understand. The current sheet is important.
It's interesting learning about these solar winds and solar flares, and what scientists are learning even more about the sun, things that we didn't know before. I just find that really interesting. Solar wind, solar flare, those things can be damaging to electronics and stuff, but it's interesting seeing how much it really influence the planets that revolve around the sun and how much these things really matter because understanding how the sun works, maybe you can find a way to have unlimited energy practically by obtaining energy from the sun through solar panels and other ways. Who knows?
To study because it can affect how impactful eruptions can be at Earth. We've never seen these phenomena in such detail before, and scientists are continuing to study these images to piece together how the sun affects Earth and the rest of the solar system. Our solar probe is opening our eyes on a new reality about our star, the sun. It is rewriting the textbooks for us.
Very interesting. It's just so interesting seeing this, and we can actually learn things live, like right now, learning more stuff about our own star, aka the sun, and it's just interesting. Really hope that NASA's budget does not decrease, maybe stays the same as the 2025-2024 budget, because the new budget is going to be for fiscal year 2026, so hopefully it doesn't go down. I would love if they would just take some funding away from the military and put into NASA and other more needed agencies departments because we need more NASA research. So we need more funding for them. We need more funding for healthcare. Those are things that matter more than just the military. The military has way too much budget. ICE agency right now has too much budget. Also, we can definitely allocate some of the funding from there into more uh, organizations, agency departments that really need it more, and we need more research from them because it helps us evolve more, help us adapt to new environments, new things that are happening in the universe that we here on Earth don't know too much besides the scientists who are studying it. And new technologies can be created from all this research that have been made about space, like the sun, and learn about how the solar winds and solar flares impact the planet, how can impact the ozone layer, etc. Learn new ways to defend ourselves from extreme radiation is very helpful. So I hope that funding can be increased. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you agree to that or not. I'm gonna read really quick some of the comments. If there's anything maybe I miss, because obviously this is not my field of expertise. Kudos to all who designed and built that probe 3.8 million miles from the sun inside its corona. Simply amazing. I agree. Seeing all that raw energy from this close really makes you appreciate how our magnet field protects us. What a great piece of engineering this probe is. Yeah, a lot of things we could really be completely dead by now. So it's really interesting. What blows my mind is how NASA developed materials to withstand the extreme conditions. That's a great point too. Yep, that's a really great point. Gratitude to be alive and see our stuff. Thanks for posting. I'm actually feeling positive about the absence of all the typical. So how does this expense help any of us? Comments. Kudos to NASA for still being able to perform real science. Yeah, a lot of people are ignorant and uneducated how they think that, oh, who cares about studying space? But a lot of this research, all the funding to study space and space exploration has really advanced our technology, modern technology dramatically. And people have no clue how much it has because they don't educate themselves. They assume it's useless. But then They look at this bloated military budget that's too much and think that's okay because it's to defend us when it's just to conquer other lands and just take away from the things we need, like space exploration research, funding for healthcare, funding for education, so people can become scientists and physicists. So they can have easy time for in school to become a doctor or whatever they want to be. Right? College shouldn't be so expensive. Maybe we should provide more funding so more people can go to college for free or very low cost. That should be the way to do things. And I'm sure a lot of scientists will agree to that. We need more scientists, not less. But let me know in the comment section if you agree with me on this on that point, and if you're excited about the closest image ever taken of the sun's atmosphere. What do you think about that? We can talk about it. I'm excited for this. This is really good news for NASA and just in general for science. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. Watch this on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. And again, I got the Patreon. It's only $1 per month. All right, guys. Have a good day.